Hi, my name's Winter Brown. I am the lead educator here at TSPA Appleton.
Hi guys, I'm Michaela. I'm the admissions director here at TSPA Appleton.
We are the social media team here at TSPA, and we decided just to do a little bit of vlogging for you and just chatting to let you get to know a little bit about our histories a little bit more and how they relate to this building and our beautiful TSPA fam. You can't laugh while I'm talking.
Sorry.
Actually, it's fine. It's fine. So, Michaela.
Yes.
My first question for you is, before being our admissions director and working at TSPA Appleton, what did you do?
Before I was even here in this building,
Yeah.
did event planning. I also worked answering phones and booking appointments for health insurance brokers so they could call and connect with people to sell them insurance.
Okay. So you babysat too?
Yeah.
That must have been horrible.
I mean, it wasn't horrible, but I mean, it was just not what I wanted to do. I'm a very goal-oriented person, and I'm someone that really strives off of having check boxes, and I'm very passionate about the things that I do. So when it's not something that I'm oh my God, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, it's really hard for me to do it. And I love kids and I love babysitting and I love working with people. It just was never in the right realm of things.
Yeah. But now you get to work with kids, people, and you get to check boxes and have goals. And work with people like me.
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's really fun. That's really funny how that works out because we have kids here.
Yep.
I mean, they're adult kids, but
they're more
crazy?
Fun. When I was in middle school, and actually since first grade, I've always wanted to be a preschool teacher, forever, because I was oh, I do not like older kids, and I swore I would never work with older kids, and now look at me, I'm working with older kids, and I love it.
Yeah,
it's weird. So
that's awesome.
I know, it's crazy. So what did you do before you came to TSPA?
What did I do? So I went to school here in 2009, and I knew at a young age, I was about 8, when I knew I wanted to do hair. This is a fun fact about me.
So what was the deciding factor at 8 though that you were yes, I'm gonna do hair?
Well, I went to bed with a dream and a genie dream.
Yeah.
Or a wish every day. You could call it a prayer. But I went to bed every night and I'd be like, oh, please let me wake up with long, beautiful hair and a voice that I could sing. Because in my life, those were the only 2 careers I could do. I could either be a singer, which I'm not, or I could have long hair, because to me that was a job.
Oh.
When I was little. And then when I was 8, my parents got me for Christmas one of them old, it was a set of hair ties, ponytail holders, clips. There was 1,000 of them. And I opened it and I started crying, and I was so sad but happy because I didn't know how to put my hair in a ponytail.
Oh.
And so I was 8 when I learned how to put my hair in a ponytail. My mom was like, we're gonna get this, she couldn't teach me because she got mad at me, so my dad taught me how to do it. So
oh my God, that's cute.
I know, right? So from then I wanted to do this, but when I went to high school, everybody went to college, and at the time I hadn't really grown into myself, so I was just I'll just do it, even though I knew what I wanted to do. So I went to school at UWM, and I went for communication sciences and disorders, which is the undergrad to speech pathology. And I really liked it, but it was lacking, like you said, that passion. And so when I decided, I had an event in my life that kind of shifted, and I was like, wow, what am I doing? So
how long did you go to UWM for?
3 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I called my dad and I was like, Dad, I think I want to change my career path. And he was like, no, you can't do that. Don't do that. Hairstylist, he said, you'll never make money. But that's such an old thing. And he didn't know. And so I visited a bunch of schools. I think I went to 7.
Holy cow.
And my last school I went to was TSPA Appleton. And I pulled up and I was like, what is this? I'm not getting out of the car. I was like, this is not for me, because it's in a strip mall, and I was judgy. And then I walked in, because I got out of the car eventually.
Did you do it yourself, or did your dad make you?
No, I did it myself.
Oh.
He would not go with me. Nobody went with me. I went to see these schools by myself.
Oh my gosh.
And I came in, and the admissions person was waiting at the door, and he was like, oh my God, you must be Winter. And like I could feel all these like little walls that I didn't know I had. Like it was just like a crumbling down, and I was like, oh my God,
That's so awesome.
I'm home. And then I actually never left.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I started in September 2009, and then when I graduated, I worked at the front desk, and I started teaching in 2012 because I knew I wanted to do that too. Because I like
When you started school?
yeah,
Okay.
took me about 3 weeks to realize I could be a teacher. I want to do that.
That's awesome.
So
That's super cool.
mhm.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right?
You've totally evolved.
I know, and like even the journey of like teaching has like gone like more than I thought.
Yeah.
You know, I started and it was like I had a super fun time, but I was like a young teacher, and like the more
Was that hard for you to be young and be
Yeah.
a teacher?
some days.
Mm-hmm.
It was just more like when I have a student who's 50
Yeah.
and I was 23 when I started, the why should I listen to you?
Yeah.
It's all about like setting your expectation, your standard, and letting them know like why you have earned the right to stand in front of them.
That makes sense.
And like I did. I mean, when I graduated hair school, I worked at a salon and I worked here, and I took classes every single Sunday for 2 years.
Oh my gosh.
I was nonstop because like I knew I wanted to teach, and I knew that I would need to stand in front of somebody someday and be like, this is why you ought to listen to me, because I know what I'm talking about. And like if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be where I am.
Yeah.
And then once teaching started, taking all those extra trainings, and like actually like you learn things the first time, but through the years and taking all these trainings, like some things I've learned that I learned many years ago, but right now as I take in information as a more mature person, instead of just learning it, like I can actually feel like it rooting inside me. And now a lot of the trainings that I've had, like when I went to Chris Camp, it's like roots in my veins. Like it is who I am now.
Well, I think
Which
too,
is
like
in personal and professional life.
Yeah, I think like too, going off of that is like when I first learned and did all my training for admissions, like I learned so many things, and I think being a young person who's fresh in the industry, fresh doing the things, you take it all in, but you pick apart and utilize and like really store the things that you need for when you're like to be successful in that moment.
Yep.
And then as you evolve in your position and as you evolve as a person, when you relearn that stuff or reread things from your trainings or re-go through different trainings with the same goal or the same information, I think what you're saying is like you just take that in, and you also like you make it like roots in your body and like in your mind and everything. But I also think that you think about it in a totally different way,
Right.
and you can apply it in different ways. Like I heard one thing that when I was first in training that has stuck with me from day one until now, but every single time I go through a training, it's brought back up again. But every single time it means something totally different to me because of where I'm at and what I'm doing, I guess, right now. So
They say that like every training and every class you go to that's an addition, instead of setting expectations about what you want, just have an open mind, because you're going to get exactly what you need from that training.
I think it's so true.
Like doing Chris Camp the first time, I gained a ton of like education knowledge about like being a stronger teacher, a better teacher, and like owning my classroom more. And then the second time, it was like the information that I needed was all personal and like growing myself more.
That's
So
awesome.
I went through a huge transformation in 2 different ways in the same year. From this, it was not the same class, it was different, but like
Really
I got
good.
exactly
Yeah.
what I needed out of it.
That's awesome. That's super cool.
Yeah,
I love when trainings do that.
I know.
I just love training, actually.
And you come back and you're just like, so what was your favorite training you ever did?
Guess that's hard. I think this is gonna sound crazy, but I think my favorite training that I've done so far was my I had taken like the admissions like onboarding training when I first started, and then I retook it, but I took it with the regulations and rules portion of it with Heather from Spec. And everyone knows I hate paperwork, and I hate hate's a strong word. I strongly dislike all of the like legal aspects of things, because my brain just doesn't work that way, and I'm just kind of like well, this makes sense, I'm gonna go do this, and this should be done like this, without thinking that there has to be rules and things like that. Otherwise there can be no groundwork, I guess. And so I think my favorite training I ever did was my second time with the onboard training for admissions with Matt, and then mixed with the regulations and policies and procedures with Heather, because I learned, my eyes got like so open to what, I guess, like there's a whole other world within admissions. Like when I first made my goal of being an admissions director in 5 years of being at TSPA, I was like, yeah, I just want to go work with people, and I just want to go meet these people, because that is so cool to me. But then Matt was like, there's this and this and this and this part of admissions, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Like, that's crazy. So then when I did that training, like my eyes just really were open to everything that I actually needed and what was going to be a part of my job. And then like being able to work with Jess side by side, she's so phenomenal at doing that kind of stuff. So we really balance each other out, when I'm more of the person that deals with like the fun and like, let's change this and let's do that. And, you know, I'm always just like, let's do this. I want to learn more. And she's more like, well, Michaela, let's take it down a notch. Like, you need to follow X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. So I don't know. I think that was my favorite training, just because I got to see like everything. Awesome. But I've had a lot of really great trainings, like a lot of them. I sometimes forget how many I've done. So sometimes I think they all kind of mesh together, because they're all so good that I think it's like, I don't remember if I learned that in this training or this training.
I think that they do that on purpose. They intertwine like pieces of our culture in every training.
And I do really like that. And I like how, at least like working with TSPA and the trainings that we do, everything is built on such a solid foundation that when you do learn things, like you said, they not only do they piggyback off of each other, but they really coincide so well, and the people that are doing the training are so on the same level that when they talk about things, like Matt can tell me one thing and then Amber can tell me another thing, and I learn two totally different things like from the same thing that was said, but they're all on the same level. I don't know, it's crazy.
And it's like, you can have a training where you have somebody who's, how long have you been at TSPA?
It'll be 3 years this year.
Okay,
that's crazy.
So 3 years. I've been here like 10 years.
Yeah.
But you can have two different time people, like level, I guess. Not that we're on different levels.
No,
but you know what I mean. And like the training can be set in one way, and you get like everything makes sense to, no matter where you are at.
Yeah.
It all makes sense, which is cool.
What is one thing that is always in your purse that you never take out? Like, you always have to have in your purse?
You know,
besides Tic Tacs. I'm just kidding.
I love orange Tic Tacs. Like I love them, but I don't always have them, because sometimes I eat all of them, which is all the time. Is my favorite lipstick.
Okay.
Which is not what I'm wearing right now, but it's that Maybelline 24-hour.
Oh, yeah,
like
that stuff is
I think
bomb.
The color's Seductress or whatever, and it is my favorite one. I've gone through it 3 times.
Oh my gosh.
Which
if
you keep a lipstick till it's gone, like you win.
Yeah, right.
But I've done it 3 times.
I was gonna say, I don't think I've ever gone through like a whole tube of lipstick.
It is. I wear it every day almost. So I always have that, and I always have in my wallet this lucky dollar that I found. It was on my first job. It was my first day of my first job. I found $1.
Dang.
I crumpled it up like the tiniest ball, put it in my wallet. I've had it in my wallet ever since. And sometimes I feel like I'm really poor, and I'm like, should I use my dollar? No.
So, favorite dollar?
Yeah.
How do you know not to spend it? Like, how do you know it's the dollar?
Because it's crinkled up so small.
Oh.
And it's in my change pocket because it's so small. I don't even think I could spend it. It's probably teared up.
How do you even get that undone?
I don't need to. It's my lucky dollar. I'm never going to spend that.
You should frame it.
I'll probably be buried with that dollar.
Oh, you should.
That was morbid, but but it's fine. I'm just saying I love that dollar, so that's probably it. I mean,
that's pretty cool.
My purse is a hot mess.
What is one beauty routine that I have to do every morning? Mm-hmm. I have to put foundation on, because I have really freckly skin. like a really freckly face, especially in the summer. And it is not like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, I just have to put foundation on it. Like, I don't like it to like show through. I don't know why.
Yeah. You're not ready to embrace your freckles yet.
Yeah, not yet. Sometimes, but not for work.
Meanwhile, everybody else is painting them out.
I know, that's the new craze. So maybe I need to jump on board and like maybe just start showing off my freckles. I mean, I don't know. But that's one thing that I do. What is one thing you do?
Everything. I do everything every day.
I know.
Like,
you get up like 3 hours before you need to.
Yeah.
Just to
every
do
day
makeup.
I get up between 5 and 5:30, and it's like my me time. My mom gave me a piece of advice. This is a single mom. She said, every day you need to clock out for like 15 minutes and do something for yourself.
That's
but
true.
when you can't leave all the time because, so I get up early, I go down and make my coffee, and I spend some time doing my makeup. It also gives me good practice because makeup was never something I was good at.
Yeah.
And until I dove into it, and I got a lesson from Aaliyah, and I really...
She needs to come back and teach me some lessons.
Yeah, and I really tried.
Yeah.
Because I was inspired by her, so I really tried. So that's my time in the morning, is my makeup.
I love that.
So I do everything.
I love that.
Yeah.
Your makeup always looks so good though.
Thank you.
And I was like stalking you a while ago.
When I didn't have eyebrows.
And I was like, wow, her makeup has really evolved.
Oh, okay,
but it's
so
like, it's so true though.
In 2017, like I'm not big on resolutions.
Yeah.
But my resolution was to get good at makeup. Makeup every day.
That's
like,
awesome.
Every day I did it. And like when I first learned how to blend my eyeshadow, it took me 40 minutes.
Dude,
so like,
I feel like I
so
need,
it was like full investing, and every day I tried something, whether it was good or not. I just tried it. And got better, and I got better.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
You can only pick one.
Oh boy. Okay.
What is your favorite moment that you've had at TSPA since you've been here?
There is so many.
But personal to you.
Okay. I think my favorite moment was, they kind of go hand in hand. So is that okay? It's kind of like two, but it's one.
So she's cheating. It's fine. We'll allow it.
So I am really big on, like, I don't want to say competition, because competition is a bad word, but I'm really big on like outbeating past goals or past like things, because I feel really strongly about like always doing better and like always just going to the next level. And one of the biggest things that like for me personally is I never want to stay stagnant, and I never want to like always remain the same. So for me, setting goals and like conquering them is huge. And I think that my biggest goal that I actually honestly was so scared about was never enrolling anyone. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't know if I can do it. I really went through like a long period of like doubting myself and like doubting my ability, even though I knew I could do it, but I did. And it was in the moment that I looked in our cabinet in my office, and I realized that every student in the whole entire building, all of their folders were in this drawer. And I realized every single folder was for a student in this building that I had enrolled. And there were so many. And I was like, oh my God, I did it. Like, I really did it. And it was then in that moment that like it happened in the same day actually, but I had a student who I had enrolled graduate, and she just basically told me like how coming to TSPA had changed her life, and how like if she wouldn't have come here, she wouldn't have excelled and like went to the levels that she did. She wouldn't be the person that she is. And like all of those things, I was just like all in one day just made me, holy crap, like this is amazing. And this is why I do what I do, because I love the people that I'm able to bring into the academy. I love seeing their like day one to the end transformation. And there's been like multiple students that I've enrolled that have had just like stellar transformations. And I think all of that, so that was like 3, but all of that in one is my favorite.
That's
so,
awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. What is yours?
Oh my gosh.
You can kind of cheat. It's okay.
That's 10 years is a
I know,
really hard time to pick.
Yeah.
You know, I think that if I have anything to, like, there's so many, but I would have to say all the mistakes that I made in the beginning, all the mistakes that I made every day, like trying to learn how to be the best teacher I could be, but still be me, and still inspire people. All those mistakes I would say those are my favorite, because they made me like a better coach to my students, a better coach to the education staff, and like now when we have new onboard educators, it's like I actually know what it's like.
Yeah.
And
so
like those mistakes, it's like they made me.
Yeah.
And there were so many, but like they made me who I was. And then when I started to see them as, instead of mistakes, all the lessons, like that mindset shift, like was everything. And obviously like Educator of the Year, that was like, for me, never thought that would happen. I never thought anybody saw me, you know, besides the people in this building. I didn't think like people saw me, and like that was like, what?
And I think that's such like a cool like testament to your ability to be able to teach and to be able to be someone that really just educates everyone around her. Like I think I got to see Winter when we went to conference last year, and like obviously that's when you won Educator of the Year, but like it was really cool to see you totally in your element and totally just, I've never seen you in a training before, so it was really cool. And I had never been to a big conference or anything like that, so I didn't really know what to expect. And I think like just getting to watch you go around and just like, I don't know, you just have this like ability to be able to just go walk up to anyone and just have a conversation with them, and there's always a lesson, or like there's always something super important that someone can take away from that conversation within your conversations. And there was like one time we were at the first night and we were going around in that small penthouse.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, wow, there's so many people here, and I was like trying to take it all in, but also like I had a moment where I was like, I could stand here and I could just keep, you know, watching these people interact, or I can go and interact and learn. And I walked up to someone and we were talking, and I don't honestly remember who it was anymore, but Winter's over here having a conversation with someone else, and she's just like talking about all these things, and I was like, oh my gosh, like dang, like her conversations are just so meaningful and so like purposeful, and every single conversation led to something that I feel like at least those people took away from your conversations. And I think right then is when I realized like I saw you always as an educator here, and someone that like really was able to educate the people around you, the staff, like the students. But then like when we went to that, I was like, oh man, she does this for a lot more people than just us and our students. Like this is crazy. So I really liked seeing you in that element, and I think that is just another reason why I feel like you were meant to be the educator.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So really that was like one of the lessons that I learned when I went to Las Vegas, when we had that competition. We got to work backstage when they were setting up for the symposium, and the first day, so it was myself, Gracie, and Kayla, and the first day I was like in shock. I don't know when the last time I was in shock before, but like I looked around and like there was people that were better than me, smarter than me, like more than me, and I was like, I don't belong here. And like my mindset was in such a weird place, because I was like, these are people I've looked up to my entire career.
Yeah.
And I like froze. And I'll tell you, so we were leaving that day, and I was like, we worked and stuff, but I don't think I talked to a lot of people, because I was just like,
Yeah.
And then we were leaving and walking towards, it was a big hallway, walking towards us was this guy, and then another guy in like a beanie hat, and I was like, ugh, we're in Las Vegas, why is this guy wearing a beanie? And that was my only focus. And we're walking past, and we get past the guy, and the other guy says, hey ladies, how's it going? And, like, obviously I was just like, good. And I turned around and it was Sam Villa. And I was like, Winter, why were you so focused on a beanie and you didn't see somebody that you, like, I looked at the girls I was with and I said, I'm sorry that I maybe was a little bit fearful today. And that next day I went and every single person, I went right up to him and I said, hi, my name's Winter Brown. I'm from TSPA Appleton. Would you mind shooting a video for my students? Because we just, like, every
That's
single
awesome.
person. So that day I met Sam and Lori Zabel, and, like, I got so much more out of it just from not being afraid to talk to people.
Yeah.
Because, like, nobody's better than you. It's not like that. It's like these hairstylists who are amazing could not continue to do what they do if it wasn't for educators like us who teach the babies who become the people. Like, we all work together in the same industry and community, and that was something that was like, why did you act like that? Like, and then I learned so much, and I was like, yep. So that was a huge lesson. That was before Florida too. So in Florida, I was like, fearless. I'll talk to everyone.
Well, and that's what, like, when we went to Florida, I remember telling you, I was like, I don't know what to expect. And you're like, just stop expecting things. And I was like, Winter, it's not like that. And you're like, no, it is. And I was like, no, I'm terrified to go and talk to these people. And then, like, when I realized, like, the amount of lessons and the amount of, like, connections and the amount of, like, growth that can happen by just talking to someone else that's in your position or someone else that knows a little bit more than you do. It's like, you can't be fearful of the fact that they know more than you. Like, take it as, like, you're going to have a connection with this person that knows more, but I'm going to take away something and learn something from them. And I really just, like, was like, oh, Winter's so smart. Like, oh, well, she's a genius.
It's also like our culture. Like, we talk culture to our students all the time. Positive culture, helpful culture, lift each other up. But that's, like, not just here. That is the franchise in general, like, the whole spec, everybody, we all want each other to succeed. And if you're not from that part of the culture and you don't surround yourself with people like that, it's weird. But, like, here, we all want each other to win, and it's like, what? You know?
And I think, like, that is something that I've never really been in a culture like that before. I've never worked for a company or a place or, like, somewhere that really wants people to win or wants them to succeed. It's always like, oh, there's the boss man, he's better than X, Y, and Z. You guys just do all the dirty work kind of thing. And for me, like, working in that kind of environment, coming here to a place that doesn't do that is a weird transformation. But then to go to a conference and be surrounded by hundreds of people who are in the exact same mindset as you, and everyone is just like they're like, we're so many gorgeous women and so many successful, powerful, like, independent, strong women there that, like, you could totally be fearful of them, but, like, utilizing that time to really learn from them, because all they want is the same thing. They want you to succeed. They want you to be amazing. And so I think it was really cool opportunity to learn so many different things from those people.
So speaking of, like, people like that, you only get, like, a little bit of words for this question.
Oh gosh, okay. I'm scared.
Okay, so who is, like, your biggest mentor, and, like, what is one reason that you think that they are? Like, who has made the biggest impact on your professional life, and why?
Okay, so this is hard for me to answer in small words.
Okay, so you can have more words, but, like, who is it and why is it?
Okay, so I started at TSPA, and I started as the front desk representative. And I originally took working here because I didn't like what I was doing. And I had worked in a salon environment before when I worked at the barbershop as a receptionist, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna take that position because I can do it. I know it, it's easy, I can do it. I never dreamt in my wildest dreams that I would ever be the admissions director. That was never, like, an intent when I first took this position. And when Matt from Spec came into the school and he took me to Subway for coffee, and
Subway coffee? Matt, what is that?
He goes, sits down and he asks me like all these things about me. He just wanted to know about me. And I was like, this is weird. No one ever wants to just know about me. Like, and it was never, he never made me feel like I was like anything less. Like, I felt like we were equals, even though he is up here, owns his own company, has been so successful for so long. And I was the front desk representative. Like, we, not that they're like bad positions for either of us, but like I just felt at the same level as him because he just, I don't know, it just made me feel like comfortable and confident. And then he like asked me, he goes, what is your 5-year goal plan? And I told him, I said, being an admissions director would be my ultimate goal. Like, that is what I want. And at that point in time, I never stopped past that. Like, obviously now I have more goals, but Matt really has taken the time since day one to like make me feel confident and comfortable in my abilities to be an admissions director. And I think he's so brilliant, like brilliantly smart and like talented and just insanely wise when it comes to everything admissions, that he obviously has his own company and obviously is like working with spec, but like he has just really made me feel like whenever I doubt myself or whenever I'm going through a challenge or whenever I have questions, he just, I don't even know, it's not even like he does anything in particular, he just makes me want to be a better admissions director. And so I would say that he is my career like inspo. He's like what I want to be one day. I'd like to do what Matt does one day.
Yeah,
I think that'd be so cool. Maybe own my own business, maybe train people, I don't know.
That's the biggest impact. I mean, besides the people that I'm around daily who make a huge impact, I'm gonna have to go with Chris Barron has made like the biggest impact on me professionally, and like I don't want to cry, but he makes me feel special.
Yeah.
And like I feel seen, even though he sees so many people.
Yeah.
Like when I started teaching in 2012, it was like that right around that time where we were training with Redken.
Okay.
And so we had Scott Sherman here training us, and he is like in the top of my,
That's awesome.
he changed my life. But then Chris Barron came, and then like they did this thing where we had to teach and they filmed us.
Oh, yeah.
And then they played it back and like coached us through, and it was like not like negative. It was like I learned so much about what I do and what I look like when I'm up there.
Because I don't feel like you know unless you get to see
unless
it.
you watch it. Like you don't know what your feet do.
Yeah.
I mean, like I was doing I was like, and I talked like Chris Barron said I talked like a machine gun. And like that was like, oh, I do? Okay. But he came and did that, and then over the years there was more trainings and more, and every opportunity that I had with him, like his knowledge is so crazy amazing, and the way that he inspires, and like I don't think you could catch him on an off day. I really don't. Like, and like when we went to Florida, it was like Chris Camp time, and you know about my Chris Camp adventures. So like I saw Chris Camp on Instagram like long time ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, why didn't I get invited? And I was like, I emailed. I was like, excuse me, when the next time
you reached out all the time.
I did.
Yeah,
I sent many
multiple times.
I sent many emails, but I don't think it was something that at that point they were doing a lot.
Yeah.
And then last year I got invited. I remember the day I was like, oh my God, I got invited to Chris Camp. And like when I went to Florida, there was that one spot left open, and it was, I mean, I ended up going because it was amazing. But when I saw Chris in Florida, I went up to him and I was like, you know, my journey is different. I'm a single mom. I can't always do things that other people can do. And, you know, I told him, I said, let me just tell you a little story. Do you have a moment? And he was like, absolutely, Winter. Because he remembers my name, and it's amazing. Like, it's different than you. You have a more personal relationship.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is just somebody I look up to so much. And I said, let me tell you about all the ways that the little ripples that you've made have impacted my career. Because from the second I started teaching, it was Scott Sherman who was trained by Chris Barron. It was like everything built me, and he didn't realize that he built me without being present every day.
And that was like, that's cool.
It was a really cool thing, and like the people that he's taught me so much, and like I was like, can I please go? Like I really want to go. And he ended up like, I mean, obviously I went, and it was so amazing. And that experience as far as like education standpoint was awesome. And then the next time was the personal growth, and like I just think that he is a super awesome person. And I remember like he comments sometimes on my Facebook stuff, and I screenshot everyone and I send it to my family because I'm like, oh my god, look at what he said. Like,
I remember when we were in Florida, and it was also that mixer night, the first night.
Yes.
And we were outside on the balcony, and Chris was out there, and you were like, Michaela, come here, we're gonna go ask him if he can take a picture, okay? And I was like, oh, okay, like thinking he's really famous, like are we allowed to do that? And then you're like, it's fine. So we go out there, and you're like, hey Chris, can we take a picture together? And then he was like, oh my god, yeah. And he's like, get in here. And he was like so excited, and he was so happy to take a picture with you that night.
I just can't. It's like, I think that one of my life goals is to make a lot of ripples that eventually turn to waves that can change things.
Yeah.
And like he does that, and
without
I
even
feel
knowing.
like somebody should tell him, like, hey, listen, like, I mean, he's built the hair cutting, system that we use, but it's so much more than that. Like, he's literally building educators that are changing lives, and he did that without even touching somebody.
That is insane.
Like, what?
That is so crazy.
Chris, you're amazing. Amazing.
He's but I do really think that's very, like, I guess I didn't really think about that. That's such, I talk a lot about, like Chris having, like Fuel by Design and all this kind of stuff, but it's crazy that, he's forming the educators that
and like
grow the people,
teaching us, inspiring us, and like I think he truly, with his like Superstar Educator program and what he coaches, he sets a standard. And I mean, like, pressure with love makes diamonds, and I think that's he's just he's a boss.
He is. He's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So that would be my choice right now, is like, because I appreciate everything that he doesn't even know he did for me.
That's awesome.
And I think it's important that we tell people when they do that.
I think you're right. We should do more of that.
Yeah.
I think for sure. Okay, I have another question for you. Okay. What is your favorite hobby?
My favorite hobby?
Yeah.
My favorite hobby. Oh my god, I already know, is cooking. My favorite hobby right now is cooking.
I need some boss stuff.
I'm super inspired by Gordon Ramsay. I'm super inspired by MasterChef. I love MasterChef. I love Hell's Kitchen. I love 24 Hours to Hell and Back. Gordon is the bomb. But like his how-to videos on YouTube and everything, like I have been really exploring a lot of different recipes and having fun with cooking, so I really enjoy that. I also really enjoy shopping. I love shopping. I wish that part of my career could be dressing people.
That'd be really fun.
To not just wear what I want them to wear, but wear what like is their personality and like makes them shine. I enjoy having somebody try something on that they wouldn't, because they just listen to me for 1 second and then they put it on and it's like the most gorgeous thing.
Yeah.
So I really like shopping.
I feel like we need to do that. You need to revamp my whole closet.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. I'll tell you my hobby.
Yeah, I want you to tell me your hobby.
Because I feel like I don't really have a hobby. But I would say if I had to choose a hobby, besides watching Netflix, because I don't think that counts. Finding a hobby is hard. I would say that my hobby outside of work, I couldn't choose anything related to work, would be reading, maybe? Actually, no, that's a lie, because I've read one book in the last 2 years. I would like my hobby to be reading.
I wish I was the person that reads, however.
I'm not. Okay.
I read subtitles.
No, because subtitles are the worst.
Oh, I definitely am subtitle person.
I know you are.
I love it.
I know.
But I am very hard of hearing. And if if it's on the TV and they're not like showing the mouth, I can't lift the read. I can't read the lips, so I'm like, subtitles it is.
For reals though, on a real note, hobby. Am I allowed to say playing with my child?
Yeah.
Okay, I would say doing anything, spending time with my child, because we do a lot of fun things together.
That's awesome. So in conclusion to our beautiful video, and you guys got to know us and our journey with TSPA Appleton a little bit more, we're going to leave you off with some of our professional mantras, how we live our lives here at TSPA Appleton, things that we think about and do with intention every day. So I'll let you start.
Okay, well, speaking of intention, one of my things that I try to live by every day is like living a life of intention and like living a life that is, I guess, like meaningful. And so like using that in my work ethic as well is super important to me, because I want to meet with students and I want to connect with them and I want to help them on their journey from day one till after they graduate, when they come back, things like that. And for me, it's super important that I intentionally listening to what their needs are, listening to what their goals are, you know, helping them along the way. And I think it's really important for me personally to, like, this isn't my journey, but yet like I'm a part of someone's journey. And ultimately, like when they come into the building, you know, I don't shape them and grow them, I guess, like you do, but I still feel like I have a part in their journey while they're still here. And so just making sure that I am constantly connecting with them and helping them grow on their journey, whether it be finding salons or like helping them with their cover letters, things like that, or just if it's helping them decide what they want to do in this industry or whatever it is. But I think it's really important for me professionally that I'm connecting with the students and just building that relationship and having a solid foundation for them, for people, like, I guess, I don't even know how to explain it. Like,
you're the first point of trust.
Yeah.
You walk into this building and you are used to living a life with not like-minded people who don't have the same dreams.
Yeah.
And you get here and it's like kind of like a culture shock, because everybody's happy here, and that's literally how it is. And like you're that first point of trust where it's like, so there's other people like me, and you're gonna, not that you're gonna hold their hand, but you're gonna be that light to guide them from the beginning to the end.
Yes.
And like you're there to sign them up, and you're there to, you know, help with them with their resumes, make sure they have a job. And like that's like the comfort of knowing that maybe you're not always seen, but you're always there.
Yeah.
Super important.
Yes. I would agree. What is your mantra?
I have a lot of like mantras, things that I think about every day. I mean, education is my life. And communication is my life. I think that one of my mantras is like that kid president says, make everybody feel like somebody. Yeah. And I think that is something I try to do with intention every day, is say hi to every person and make sure that they feel seen, because there's so many people that go like without feeling like somebody sees them. Yeah. That's really important to me. It's important to me to lead by example and show them that you can be like a strong woman, you know, like I try to show that, like I've been through stuff, but I come in and I try to show them that it's possible. Yeah. That like there's light at the end, that you can do anything you want, because like I have literally like living my dream. I have done everything that I have wanted to do so far, and there's more on the list, and the fact that I did it already knows I could do it again. Yeah. And I think it's important for them to know my journey so they know it's possible, because it hasn't been easy.
And I feel like too, like a lot of people these days, they have dreams, but like no one ever believes in them. And I think by you like telling your story and you constantly being that like beacon of light for them and like guiding them, they are then in turn able to believe in themselves, which I think is like ultimately the most important. And I think that you do a like really good job of, you know, working with the students like that.
Yeah, I do believe in every single one of them, but not only in like their professional, but like this is the place where they transform who they are. And like my biggest thing I took away from Prosper U is like every time I do it, I see people change the way they look at themselves in the mirror. They go from looking at themselves like worthless garbage, because that's how people are, to seeing themselves for the light that they have themselves. I don't have to give them mine because they have it. We just have to dust it off. And like that is something that like watching them change how they look at themselves, besides watching them on their journey, which is awesome. Like don't get me wrong, but if they go on the journey and they don't change the way that they look at themselves, they will never be successful. If they look at themselves and start loving themselves, that's the point. And that's like the super awesome thing. So I mean, there's so many, but like that's super important to me, especially in this moment, in this chaos that we're in, is like making sure that they don't forget that it's like their journey still, and they're like, they may not be in this building, but I'm trying to rub off on them as much as I can, as much as I can. So
I love that. I think you did a great job.
Thank you. So if you like this video and you want to see more, I mean, let us know, like it, subscribe, do whatever you do on YouTube or Facebook, share it. Yeah.
Show us some love.
Yeah. I mean, this is our first one. Hopefully we'll be doing more, and they won't always be question and answer, but hopefully you got something out of it and enjoyed it, because we enjoyed making it for sure.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. So thank you guys.
Yes, and happy Feel Good Friday. Go make somebody else feel good, because that's what it's about. I posed.
Yeah.